Hello, hello. So we're looking at our Chapter 8 test review. This is for the test that is just like a week from now, except that y'all are definitely watching this like 2 days before. So we're looking at number 1, which says, which line has a slope of 0? If you didn't figure it out, we're looking over at this graph. And if you remember, we talked about a slope of 0 is zero fun to go skiing or sledding on. So B would be our slope of 0. Which line has an undefined slope? If you're in Mrs. Coyle's class, we talked about Slope Dude and how you might have seen Slope Dude and he yells the worst curse word in math, which is undefined, as he falls down the cliff. If you're in my class, we talked about if you're at the bottom, if you try and sled down a slope like this, you're going to be undefined by the time you get to the bottom. So C is our undefined slope. Now, positive slope is moving in an upwards and to the right. So we're looking for a slope that moves up and to the right, which would be D. And negative slope moves down to the right. So down to the right, we're looking at A. If we're looking at number 5, it says, write this equation in slope-intercept form. If you remember, slope-intercept form is where we do y equals mx plus b. So we need to change this equation to be in y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to get everything away from y. I'm going to start by adding 6x to both sides. But now I've got 2y is equal to 13 plus 6x. To get rid of that 2 being multiplied by y, I divide by 2. I wish I'd made this an easier one to divide. So, in other words, I'm going to end up with y equals 3x plus 13 over 2, or 13 halves. If you simplified that into a decimal, I will also accept that. I'm just trying to be the most correct. If you look at number 6, which order pair is a solution to the equation y equals 2/3 x minus 1? This is where you're probably going to want to get out that calculator. But if you remember, you can also top times top, bottom times bottom. So, in other words, if I've got A, I'm going to say 2/3 times negative 1 minus 1. And I need to see, does that give me 1 2/3? So 2/3 times 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 over 3. So I've got negative 2/3 minus 1. That would be a negative 1 2/3. So this one does not work. 2/3 times negative 7 minus 1. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14 over 3. So we got negative 14 over 3 minus 1 would be negative 14 over 3 minus 1 would be negative 17 over 3. If we simplify that, that becomes 3 goes into 17 5 times with 2 left over. So it's negative 5 2/3, not negative 9. So that doesn't work either. We're running out of room here, folks. If I do negative 9, so 2/3 times negative 9 minus 1. 2 times 9 is 18, 18 over 3, that becomes negative 6. Negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7, which is what this says, so that is a possibility. All right, so let's try this one, last one. We're going to come over here. 2/3 times 1 minus 1. 2/3 times 1 is 2/3. Minus 1 would leave us with -1/3. So that does not work either. So our only option here is to go with B, -9, -7. All right. On a coordinate plane, at what point will the line represented by the equation -x plus 8 cross the y-axis? So if you don't remember, when a line crosses the y-axis, that's called our y-intercept. And when we have a y-intercept, x is 0. So, in other words, what we need to do is -0, which is 0, plus 8 to figure out what y is. So y equals 8. In other words, the point, don't forget, it asked us for a point. This is not a point. The point would be 0, 8. The slope of a line through the point 0, 0 is 5. What is another possible coordinate? So in other words, the slope is 5. It goes through the point 0, 0. So if we come over here and we say, okay, it starts here, slope is 5, so it rises 5 and runs 1. So we go 1, 2, 3, sorry, I'm in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. That would be another point on this line. So in other words, another possible coordinate would be 1, 5. What is the x-intercept for the equation y equals 5x plus 2? All right, if we're looking for the x-intercept, we're looking for x when y is 0. So we need to know what to do, how to get 0 when we do 5x plus 2. So we're going to subtract 2. So now we've got -2 equals 5x. Now I'm going to divide by 5. And we find that the x-intercept is going to be -2/5, 0. What is the slope of the equation -4x plus 6? Slope is our coefficient of x, and so our slope, m, equals -4. All right, let's flip it over. Use the slope formula to find the slope of the line that passes through the following points. So slope formula is when we do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So in other words, we're going to start by labeling our points. So I'm going to say this is my x1 and my y1. This is going to be my x2 and my y2. Now I plug it in. -2 minus 1 over 3 minus -1. So -2 minus 1 is -3. 3 minus -1 is 3 plus 1, which is 4. So our slope is -3/4. Write the equation in function form, which is actually slope-intercept form. Make a t-chart with 4 values and then graph. So 6x minus 2y equals 8. Draw my line. I'm going to subtract 6x. So now I've got -2y equals 8 minus 6x. Then I'm going to divide by -2. So I end up with y equals 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3. So we actually have to write this as y equals 3x minus 4. So we know that our y-intercept is going to be 0, negative 4, and our slope is 3. So up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Technically, you only need 2 points in order to form a line. I like to be as accurate as possible with my line, though, especially when I don't have a ruler on hand. So, we did need to create a t-chart. So, we could have done this. We could have also plugged in for 0. When x is 0, y is negative 4. When x is 1, y is negative 1. When x is 2, y is 2. When x is 3, y is 5. So in other words, make sure you've got your t-chart with 4 values. Make sure you graph, and make sure you've got your slope-intercept form. So I've got part 1, part 2, part 3. That's a very important part, is being able to read those directions. I almost skipped a step and I would have gotten it wrong. All right, graph the following points below, label the lines with their appropriate equations, and list the intersection points. Now, the intersection points, we're actually looking for your intercepts. So x equals 5. We're going to go over here. If x is 5, that is straight up and down. Y equals 3. And 3y minus 2x equals negative 21. So we need to change this first into slope-intercept form. I'm going to add 7x. So we got negative 21 plus 7x. And then I'm going to divide by 3. So now I've got negative 7 plus 7 thirds x. In other words, a rise over run of 7 thirds, or 7 over 3. So my intercept is at negative 7, which is down here. I'm going to rise 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, run 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, y'all can't see that. Okay, rise 7, run 3. So there's that. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, run 1, 2, 3. All right. So those are my 3 graphs. If I am looking for my intersection points, that's actually where the graphs intersect. So I'm looking here, here, and here. So x equals 5 and y equals 3 intersect at the coordinate 5, 3. And then our graph over here intersects at 4, 3 and 5, 4.5. That will probably not be on your test because we have not focused on that during our during this. We're probably just going to ask you to graph the lines. All right, now the final bit. We are looking to write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line. So if we're looking at this line, we've got a line running through negative 5. We know that this is a slope that is undefined. So what this actually is x equals -5. All right, let's look down here. Intercept's at -2. Let's check out the slope. We're gonna check our slope between -2 and 0, 3. So I go up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. It is positive, so my slope is 2/3. So my equation is y equals 2/3 x minus 2. All right, choose 2 points on this line. I'm going to choose the points at 0, -4 and -2, 0. So I know that my y-intercept is -4. Let's check out our slope. We drop 1, 2, 3, 4. Run 1, 2. So it would be -4 over 2, which simplifies to -2. So our slope is -2. So our equation is y equals -2x minus 4. All right, guys, I think you're going to be amazing. You're going to do a great job on your test. I look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.